What is up, ladies and gents? Noli here. Welcome to another Payday video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the second of the two brand new heists added in the Hardcore Henry pack to everyone for free. It is, of course, Boiling Point, the loud one of the two. And I'm a massive fan of the way that the Hardcore Henry packs have been done, really. Not only in the quality of the content we've been given, but the way that Overkill has, despite it being free, they've gone out their way to try and appease what the community's been asking for a while, not only giving us a dedicated stealth heist, which does it very well, nicely designed map, but also in creating a brand new environment in a loud single-day heist, as we see here. I think it's fantastically well done, and I just recorded this commentary. I was really happy with that. I put it in my video, and I'm listening back to it. I'm like, hang on a minute, I didn't even talk about the fact there are any bloody new enemies here. So brand new, obviously they're just reskins, but brand new skins for the Russian style of every single enemy type. Only the cloakers really still look very similar. The tasers are very different, wearing a Payday gang style mask. The bulldozers look a little more retro. And same thing from the shields. The shields for some reason feel even more intimidating to me. But I think that was something that I didn't talk about nearly enough in the first recording. I do want to stress here that it's fantastic. It adds a bit of difficulty to this mission. Of course, you can see I'm playing it on Deathwish over here, using all new weapons they've added in this DLC, all of which are viable and loads of fun, particularly the brand new pistol we got in the actual Hardcore Henry update itself. Massive fan of that thing. It's a monster, even up to Deathwish difficulty. But yeah, so it's a first in that we got these brand new enemies that are more difficult because, you know, you're so used to seeing that same cloaker design that it takes you a little while to readjust to this one. While this heist is not one of the harder Deathwish missions, I'll be honest, initially, at first, it gave me some serious problems because I felt like cover was sporadically placed. There was no way to really hold down an area. Enemies were coming from every side, and there was a real intensity to it, bearing in mind that the enemies are all abseiling down from the moment you drop to the ground, and the initial objectives are actually very interesting, quite intense, and involve, if you're going to do it very efficiently and as quickly as possible to try and reduce the time you're out there on Deathwish, it's going to involve a little bit of splitting up, which is always a tactical decision that I like it when Overkill sort of tries to enforce. So hats off to them there in the initial design. It's the first actual snow map as well. We're going to Russia for this one, of course. I said it's the first actual snow map. We've seen a bit of snow before in some of the Christmas maps, but it depends on, you know, what you constitute as snow for that one. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the build I'm using here before I go on and describe the objectives a little more thoroughly. As you can see, one of those has just been completed in very emphatic style, blowing straight through a wall. But yeah, the weapons I choose to take with me here, there's a bit of a divide here. I wanted to show off as much of the new stuff as possible, and that's the reason why. So I'm taking the Heathers along, which are not perfect Deathwish weapons by any stretch of the imagination, but they actually work really nicely on this mission, and I'll show you why a little later on, especially when used at the same time as the current status I am in, which is Swan Song. And there's something I want to point out to you in just a second, but the primary is, as I said, the brand new. Oh, it's there on your screen. The primary are the Heather SMGs. The secondary is the brand new pistol added with this update. I'm using the new melee weapon as well, which I love. It's not a massive damaging or knockdown weapon, but it is, of course, similar to the taser. It has that electrocuting effect on it, and it just feels so satisfying on those fists to take a swing with, and it's definitely not a weak melee weapon, especially if like I am in this build, not running any melee skills. It's one of your best options. Also, it's got 30 concealment as standard, so fantastic for loads and loads of different builds. But as you can see, I don't know how I'm ignoring this. It's on your screen right now. There's a Molotov gun in front of you. It swaps from gun to gun. It's a funny visual glitch that's been around forever, and Overkill still hasn't addressed it, but I've always just found it quite funny. It's very easy to fix. I'm just trying to give you a little display of it here. To fix it, all you have to do is throw out another Molotov, and that will remove it. And the way you get this is basically get revived as you're throwing a Molotov, and for whatever reason it becomes one with your gun. I've seen it before, but this is the first time I've ever been recording it. So yeah, it stays in your gun even if you get down by a cloaker, as you see here. The build is of course grinder as well, because got to be a bit of a try-hard, and the hope is someone else is going to use the Maniac perk deck. I don't think they are here, but you really do feel it on Deathwish when one of your teammates is that sort of selfless guy. But I'm, of course, running the Inspire build, so I've got to look after numero uno first and foremost, try and keep that team alive. So that's the build, that's what's going on. Let's talk through the objectives you have seen already. It starts off, like I said, very intense. There are a bunch of different spawns for 2 anti-air guns, which have just shot you out the sky as far as I can tell. You're going to have to shut those down. One, you shut down by hacking. You want to get to that one as soon as possible. And the other one, you simply blow up. I say simply, that actually involves the application of, I think, 5 different pieces of C4, which can be an absolute pain for the guy who has to do it, because especially on Deathwish, you get surrounded so quickly, you need very good cover and potentially your Inspire runner, as I am here, to keep you going and placing those C4 pieces, so those charges I should say. Once you've got through that, one of my favourite features, a very cinematic and stylish little thing that we do in this mission is we turn the AA gun that we have hacked onto our side. We turn it into their wall and blow straight through. Not only is that a cinematic event, there's also a bunch of randomly generated events that can occur. Either, you can have 2 bulldozers behind that wall who get knocked down by the explosion but are still going to get right back up and become a problem. I love trying to take out those bulldozers before they can get up. It's really fun, either bringing in one of your more powerful explosive weapons or trying to spray them down like I do with the heathers. Or, you can see like a group of shields, or any enemy type could be found behind those walls, and they will give you a different sort of challenge once you blow your way through. Then you're going to want to hack into an EMP bomb and basically detonate it, because there are some electrical charges stopping you from getting down to this basement area we are in right now. Remember, if you walk into those electrical fences, you will get tased for an extended period of time, but I don't believe it will down you. As you can see right here, I am making perfect use of the Heather SMGs and Swan Song. Though they're not considered to be fantastic top tier weapons for Deathwish, they work really nicely right here, as I'm able to mow straight through these really irritatingly placed turrets. 2 turrets that can spawn inside these 2 main rooms where the objective is found. Of course, as you can see, what we're doing right now is scanning a dead body down here. But yeah, once you get down, once you blow the EMP charges, get rid of the electrical fence, you can move down here, and this is where the intensity really ramps up. It's my favourite style. It's defend a point style, the same sort of thing we've seen in like Cook-Off, for example. But it's a little more wide open, and there are a fair few different routes the enemies can come in. A lot of different places you're going to find yourself getting shot from. And on Deathwish, you can't just stand there and mow them down. It's not that easy, and especially for me, who's still trying to work out what enemies what and how much health they have. I just found myself really enjoying this particular section of this heist. It's really nicely done. And again, the turrets are going to throw in a little bit of additional difficulty. And the objectives you actually have to do here can differ depending on the heist you have been given at the start, depending on which one's been generated for you. And again, I like to see that kind of variety. Though this mission is only a single day and it's not that long, it's got a fair bit of replayability that we sometimes don't see in other heists. And I always think it's worth mentioning, this is free. Overkill is bringing out this quality free content with fantastic music, interesting achievements, mass patterns, everything they used to, normally charge us for. I really want to see top quality content coming out of any future DLC releases, because this is definitely up there in my opinion. But I'm going to go through all that in greater detail in the future when you see a review for this update, because I definitely think it deserves it. It carried an awful lot with it. Right here, of course, we are focusing on the mission. Not only are you holding down the scanner, you're also going to have to try and drill through to get a server a little later on. And then towards the end of this mission, the difficulty really does spike. You're going to feel it. I'm generally not a fan of that. But there are ways to get around it, and after you've played this mission a couple of times, you're going to find it too hard. I mean, that's something to mention, I think, from both of these missions. They're not the world's most challenging. They're not the world's longest, but they do what they were trying to do, what they set out to do very, very well, immaculately. They're great promotional heists for this brand new film coming out, Hardcore Henry. I think they've done themselves real justice here, Overkill, and of course taking on this collaboration. I think it's gone as well as it possibly could have. I've really enjoyed playing this mission. I think there's, like I said, replayability coming out of the different generations you can get of it, but also, as I just touched on, the achievements are really good. One of my favourite styles of achievement, melee only. There's an achievement like that, and it's an absolute ball to have a go on. especially if you're going to really challenge yourself and chuck yourself in on Deathwish difficulty. I really enjoyed that, and you guys already know that I'm a massive fan of melee weapons and melee builds, so it was ideal for me, and I really enjoyed doing that. This pistol's so satisfying to use. It's probably going to get its own separate review, because it's got the sort of feel I found of a M1911, but it's got the damage of a Desert Eagle. It's a really interesting little combination, and I've enjoyed using it massively. And it works really nicely with this build. It's just, like I said, a standard sort of inspire, grind, a dodge build with a Kimbo, I guess, making it a little different. But it synergizes really nicely and has been a load of fun for me to play around with. I'm really enjoying the game right now, and it seems that a lot of other YouTubers, Payday YouTubers, content creators, are doing so as well, because I feel like I'm a bit late on this party. I'm one of the last guys I know that actually is recording the Deathwish boiling point mission. I think that's fantastic to see the guys new and who've been around for ages getting these videos out and clearly enjoying this new content. And another little thing to touch on, this 14-player mod that I've seen flying around, guys like Malicious Carrot is he's been highlighting it, and that looks like a load of fun, and we might get into some of that in the not too distant future. As we can see now, we're securing the server. If you know the sort of right way to run, this bit can be relatively easy, but if you don't, you're gonna have a really tough time. I like the courtyard escape as well. I like that you go back through the courtyard. You don't have to go in a different way. People might complain that, you know, they're just reusing the areas you've already been through, but I think it's really nicely set up for the escape. There's a lot of well-placed cover, and as you can see already, there are a lot of snipers that are going to spawn for the escape. And, you know, it makes sense thematically. They don't want to let you go, but this is a big difficulty spike. It's going to do nightmares to every build. That's why I hate snipers. There's no way to counter them. You know, if you're a dodge build, you're just relying on luck to keep yourself alive. And, you know, I'm obviously not even maxing out dodge because I'm a grinder build. If you're heavily armoured, you're just going to have to suffer. It's not like you can dodge it. You're just going to have to take those hits and hope you're tanky enough to get through. So, my least favourite enemy types, and they throw an absolute ton at you here, but if you do take the right route and use the trees as cover wherever possible, though the cover's thin, not too solid, it's all over the place. And if you make good use of that, your escape is not too difficult. So, coming up over the next week, I'm going to still be taking a look at Hardcore Henry and seeing what else we have going on. Like I said, mods are definitely going to come back at some point. There's been some massive advancements with what the guys have been doing. And I've also got a video planned, as you guys know, My Dry Bread. We're going to work something out about that. I disappeared, obviously, for that little month, and it caused us a couple of problems with planning and things like that, but we're going to get that done. And also, another friend of mine is looking to do the sort of thing that I did in the past with my girlfriend Grace, where I tried to teach her the ropes, but this guy's a little better at video games in the first place, but I'm really going to throw him in at the deep end and see if we can hopefully get some entertaining commentary alongside him. So hopefully content that you guys are all going to enjoy coming to the channel. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the Boiling Point Heist. It does exactly what it wants to do, and as you can see, we're going to get away immediately without taking any of the additional loot, just to get that Deathwish achievement popping. Loads of fun, not too challenging, but the difficulty is certainly there. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. See you all in the next one.